RAZA for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. With me, my man Richard Riakporhe. What's going on, bro?
What's happening, RAZA?
I'm good. What are you up to?
Yeah. Just chilling, man. Just chilling. Finished some physio session on FaceTime. I did some training in the morning and just relaxing now, man. I just went on the internet. I just saw some news. Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. Really interesting. All over the Twitter feed. Listen, it's getting interesting now. So
I was going to ask you that a bit later on, but now you brought it up, so we might as well talk about it now. Announced that Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury have agreed a 2-fight deal for 2021. Now, exciting for fans around the world and everybody associated with boxing to finally may get to see one undisputed champion. However, on the downside of it, for you, your manager Dylan White has obviously been waiting a long time for that WBC shot. Have you spoken to Dylan since or heard anything from him about this?
No, I haven't spoken to him recently. But obviously his training is just focused on doing what he needs to do. But listen, my boy Dylan, listen, he's coming. And I feel like everybody's kind of shutting him out. It's not fair. And I don't know. You know, there's a possibility that Tyson Fury could be moved to franchise champion. And then the WBC may get vacated. And then he can fight for the vacant title. So listen, it's all positive, isn't it? It's a thing where my boy wants the bag, innit? My boy wants the bag, and he has to get the bag. You know what I'm saying? Or people need to step aside, innit, and let my boy fight. So, boy, I think next year it's going to be telling. You know, everybody's going to get what they deserve, and that's the way this game is, isn't it?
We obviously have to see Tyson Fury get past Deontay Wilder for the third time. We need to see Anthony Joshua get past Pulev before they can get into the ring together. I think it's commonly known that fight isn't going to be in the UK. Are you gutted that we won't get it here in the UK?
Oh, that's a shame. Listen, everybody wants to see that fight over here. Why does it have to be elsewhere? You know what I mean? I was just in front. It's funnily enough, I was watching Klitschko versus Pulev today. It's quite open for this hook that comes around his guard. I've seen Klitschko dropped him a few times with that hook, but he's quite durable. Like, he gets up, you knock him down, he'll get back up again. You knock him down again, he'll get back up again. Like, he's got that heart. So it's gonna be that's gonna be a good fight. That's actually gonna be a good fight. Can Joshua just put him away, like in one, you know, spell of landing a bunch of barrage of shots? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because he was taking some serious lead from Klitschko. But he got him out of there soon, like, as it went down the line, you know. But it's a shame, really, man. I want it down here. But what can we do? You know, with this pandemic, it's just messed up so much things, you know. And we're just trying to get back to normality. But listen, at least we can look on the bright side of things. At least there's a fight taking place, and everybody can tune in. So,
Richard, as fighters, your prize fighters, you fight obviously for money, you fight for a living, as well as for belts and legacy. But could you understand, as a fighter, if I came to you and said, here's 50 million to fight in the UK, or here's 150 million to go abroad? Is it a no-brainer almost?
No, it's a no. Listen, if somebody offered me 50 million in the UK and 100 million to go and fight in another territory, but the UK fans wanted me to fight here, I'll take the 50% cut. I'll say, you know what, cool, I'll just take the 50M and I'll get on with it. At least I'm making a... No, I'm gassing. Listen, I'm on the first flight over... Listen, before... I'm going over there as soon as possible. I'll be like, where can I sign? I'm signing on the spot. Listen, we're going to fight over there. Because at the end of the day, it's business, isn't it? It's business. As much as boxing fans want to see certain fights in certain places, they have to bear in mind that, listen, this is life or death. You know, we're risking our lives in the ring. At least let us get paid for it. You know what I mean? At least let us get a little bit of money, or at least let us have something to show out of it. Because it's not easy. We put our bodies through torture. You know, and a lot of the casuals, they won't understand. They've never been in the ring before. They never had a fight before. So until then, that's when they'll start to have a different type of respect, and they would believe that we deserve everything.
I believe the Ring Magazine put out its latest rankings early this week. Tyson Fury #1, Joshua #2, Dillian White #3. So
What, the hardest punches, or
no, the Ring Magazine, how they've rated the heavyweights right now.
okay,
So the top 3 are British heavyweights, which I don't think it has ever happened in boxing history
for a
before.
very long time.
But the fight itself, who do you favour? Who's got more arson in their tank?
Out of Tyson Fury and Joshua. Listen, that's a tricky one. A lot of people say it's one-sided, but Joshua is very intelligent as well. You know, he's very intelligent in the ring. He's got a good team. I don't think it's one-sided as everybody thinks it's going to be, because he beat Deontay Wilder in that fashion. And if you carry on thinking it, I think you're gonna be in for a shock. Not saying that, listen, Joshua's gonna come in there and wipe the floor with Fury, but it's not gonna be one-sided. No chance. It's gonna be back and forth, if anything. So I don't know. I think it depends on who comes on and shows up on the night, who's on it, who's hungrier. It's all gonna show who's putting the most hours and practice and training. You know, who's took it serious, who's lived the life as a proper athlete. And it's gonna be interesting. What do you think, then? What's your opinion?
It'd be a great fight. On a legitimate basis. We'll never answer on camera who I think would win. However, what I will say is both fighters have constantly improved over their fights and shown something different. We saw Joshua when he fought Ruiz 2, it was different. Fury when he fought Wilder 2, he was different. So both have shown something new. And listen, it's the heavyweight. It's one punch. That's what it takes.
One punch. That's all it takes. And it's good that you touched upon the performance with that Anthony Joshua had against Ruiz. Who has ever seen let's say 17-stone man just moving around a ring in that manner for 12 rounds? That takes a lot. I know what it feels like to move around for like a couple rounds. You feel the burn instantly. That's how you know he was definitely taking that fight seriously, and he was doing what he wanted to do in that fight. You could just see the way he landed and smirked. Once he landed some shots, and once he had the opponent kind of just telling him, when he had Ruiz, just telling him to come over, he was like, yeah, don't worry, I got you. It's fine. I'm staying back here. Even though the fans weren't happy with the performance because they wanted to see blood and gore, but he needed to do what he needed to do, and that's what he needs to do for him to get all the titles back, which he did. Life goes on, simple.
Let's just come back to you. We are still in the pandemic. We've been on lockdown or partial lockdown. I mean, you can still go outside and train once a day. I've seen you on your stories training topless in the sun, in the heat. I'm just being honest.
That was for the birds. That was for the birds, you know. I don't know how you're so conscious of things like that. You know, it's the normal thing, isn't it, when we box?
How have you kind of coped with, you know, the whole lockdown pandemic, the virus, not being able to see family, friends, etc.?
It's been difficult in the beginning. You know, I remember when they just shut the gyms down. It's like we hadn't come up with like a plan and schedule and how we're gonna execute training. I wasn't even conscious that we could, you know, train over FaceTime and Zoom and stuff like that. Have trainers just calling out directions and stuff on what we need to do. But it's like for the first week it was difficult. It's really difficult just to change, you know, what you're used to. I spent a lot of time in the house. I was really scared, to be fair, of the virus. I was listening to the news like every single day. It got to a point where I thought, if I step outside my house, I might just die from coronavirus. I just thought I'll just probably catch it somehow, because that's how they pushed out there, you know, through the media. But as time went on, I spent about 3-4 weeks in the house. After that, I was coming out to do exercise. I was on the phones to my physios and my coaches. And then later on, you know, things started to, you know, ease up a little bit, and we saw, you know, light at the end of the tunnel. You know, you can see, you know, certain restrictions getting lifted, was able to come out and exercise for longer periods of time. Yeah, it's, you know, it's just how life is, and it's sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. And I try my best to just stay positive, because that's the most important thing. We can dwell on, you know, the negative, the focus all on that, but it's not going to do us any favors, really. We just have to see if we can take the positives out of any situation, and that's how my mindset has been, you know, throughout my life. I'm really send my condolences out to all of the people that suffered from it. A lot of family members passed. You obviously had Anthony Yard, his parents. It's crazy. It's crazy, but you know, life goes on.
As a fighter, has it been difficult to kind of stay disciplined, in shape, not knowing when boxing's going to resume, when you're going to be out next?
Not for me. I just see it as, you know, this is probably a time to get ahead. That's what I see it. You know, I take, like I say, you know, you have to just analyze certain situations and see if you can capitalize on it. Like, for instance, the stock market, you know, it crashed. You know, the most intelligent investors, they thought, oh my gosh, like, this is a perfect time for us to invest whilst it's low. Everything was on sale, so you get in, and you know, you're gonna profit from it. You know, a lot of people did profit from this this pandemic, and I just see that with boxing as well. You know, everybody's falling off, everybody's sleeping and lounging around, not knowing what's happening. But whilst everybody's doing that, I'm training. I'm training harder, practicing, you know, on things that I need to work on, etc. You know, you can see the shape. You get me? I'm ready to go. You know what I mean? All the time.
It's okay. Muscles are all right.
You first.
Richard, what about from a financial perspective? End of the day, you guys don't earn any money unless you fight, right? I'm talking about your sole income that comes from the ring, not talking about any endorsements outside the ring, but from endorsement, from your finances from the ring, you don't get anything unless you fight. So has that been difficult?
With me, I'm all right, you know, because I've had sponsors support me. You know, I had big endorsement deals supposed to come through, but they got pushed back and stuff. But no, listen, I'm sweet. I'm all right. But I think it's really difficult for the other fighters coming up, especially the ones boxing on small shows. I think they've probably gotten to a point like where, you know, they have to assess whether it's worth continuing. Like, that's the realness. Like, because it's difficult. Look, we're in June now. It's going to be a while before we see crowds back around the ring. Small hall shows depend on ticket sales from the public. That's how they make their money. If there's no ticket sales, then who's going to come out and fight? How the referee's going to get paid? How the judge is going to get paid? How the doctor's going to get paid? How nobody's going to get paid? So there's no shows. Simple. So, and me and you both know with this game, the more time you spend outside of the ring, the ineffective you will be once you get in the ring. So it's going to be difficult. And if you're not earning any money, you don't have no sponsors and stuff. You know, I don't know how you're gonna be able to support a team to kind of work with a champion or somebody aspiring to be a champion. It's very difficult. You know, this game, you need a big team to work on somebody, because if you don't, you can only go so far. If you don't have your physio, you don't have your strength and conditioning coach, you don't have your boxing coaches working with you, nutrition, like, you can only go so far. There's a difference between British level, European level, world level. There's a big difference, and it's because of these little things. And unfortunately, you need money for this. So it's really difficult. It's really difficult time for a lot of fighters, and a lot of fighters, I think, will pack it in. I think that might be a better decision anyway than to them just to carry on plugging away, you know, hoping something's going to change, but nothing changed. Then they look back and just realize that they wasted loads of time. You know, time you can't get back. and you have to make intelligent decisions. I've been there before, you know. I've been there before, where, you know, I just wanted to pack everything in because I was boxing on the small horse shows and things weren't working, but I got my opportunity. Sometimes a little bit of luck and stuff, you know what I mean? That's just the way it goes.
Eddie Hearn's obviously going to do the first shows here in the UK, I believe, from end of next month. Fight camp in the back of his, well, it was his house, but it's his offices now. Fighting behind closed doors, though. I spoke to Frank Smith a couple of days ago, and he was telling me a little bit of detail about what fight camp would look like, lack of media, lack of personnel just generally from Matchroom there to avoid the spread of if anyone was to have the virus. How difficult would it be to fight behind closed doors and without any fans? Because normally when you walk into the ring, your fans are cheering, the music's on, you're kind of oozing. It's kind of a kick, adrenaline just before you get into the ring.
But to be honest, I never cared about any of that. I remember boxing in the amateurs and going to North England and fighting, coming on fighting a home fighter, and they're like, when they say Richard Riakporhe, you could hear a pin drop. And when they say the other opponent's name, yeah, cheers and roars. They're like, knock him out. I'm like, yeah, what can I say about that? You know, that's how I've kind of come into the game. I'm used to it, not having people there that support. That's how I kind of came up. I had to fly out this way, being in the championships, going in the semi-finals and national finals. Listen, sometimes you're in their territory and you just have to get on with it. So I'm used to it. I'm fine. I'm completely fine with it. I'll probably perform even better. I don't know. Like, certain people need a crowd, isn't it? They need people to shout and say, cheer you on, because it gives you that extra. I don't need that. I know what it is, what I need to do, and I know what I want to be. And that's enough for me to do what I need to do in the ring. And that's what I've always been. But the people that do need that, they're definitely going to suffer. I'll tell you that. And they're not having anybody calling out the names and stuff from the sidelines. You know, how would they get that extra burst? They'll probably feel like it's not working and they kind of give up in their minds. But me, it's not the case, I'll tell you that.
What's next for you? Eddie's talked about the fighters that want to come back now during this pandemic, during this period when there's no crowds. You're going to have to go into real fights, real 50-50 fights. You know, we can't fly people over and give you those kind of fights. But who's the name on your radar? I know obviously Lawrence Coley might sit right at the top of the British rankings at the moment. But he's obviously looking at world honours at the moment. I believe his next fight will be for a world title. But who's the name on your radar that's the one you want next?
Me, to be honest, I always look at the people at the top, because if you start to look at the people behind you, you kind of lose track on everything, and you just get yourself in a little bubble where it's like you're just in this British level scene, just focused on the opponent. When there's a European level, there's a world level. If you are aspiring to get to a world championship level, you have to look forward. So I've never looked at Lawrence Coley and think, I need to, you know what I mean? I need to focus on how I'm going to beat this guy. No. We're always looking ahead of everybody, because that's how you're going to get better. If we don't focus on the best, then, you know, what are you doing, really? So when you step up a level, it's like you've never experienced anything like that or even seen anything like that. And that could be a shock in itself. So I've never ever focused on guys on my level or the kind of European level, whatever. I just focus on the guys at the top. So the names, and that's who I'm watching all the time, because that's where I'm aspiring to be like. I used to do the same in the amateurs as well. So I don't have a specific name, but I focus on myself. I focus on being a better me, you know. And anybody that I step into the ring with, I just know in my mind I can beat them, and that's all right. But I've always focused on the people at the top, and that's who I've been looking at.
Richard, just want to talk a little bit about your kind of personal life. I watched an interview that you did on Good Morning Breakfast earlier this year, where you spoke about growing up in the hood, gangs, violence, drugs, knives. It seems like the world's gone crazy right now. Obviously, the sad passing of the sad murder, rather, of George Floyd that took place in America has caused riots and protests across the world. I just kind of want to focus here in the UK on kind of your reaction to it all, from one perspective, and then also racism and how it still exists here in the UK.
Yes, listen, it's really sad. It's really sad that this still goes on. This has been going on for decades. I've been listening to rappers in the UK, rappers in the US have been talking about this for years, decades, and nothing's changed. They're talking about peaceful protesting. Martin Luther King done peaceful protesting. Nothing changed. It's still the same. Everything is the same. They got a little bit more rights, but it's the same. And things need to change. You know, things need to change. And it's sad that somebody had to die for people to now start to look into this. You know, it's a topic where it's distasteful. Nobody really wants to get into race and stuff because it kind of creates a perception of division. You know, I'm not the same as you. You know what I mean? Look, why? Because I'm black. When in reality we're all human beings, isn't it? I hurt just the same way you hurt. If you are angry, I can become angry. You know, we'll go through emotions, and we're human beings, isn't it? So we're all one. We're all the same. And I don't know who created this type of system, but trust me, it causes a lot of damage psychologically, financially. If you want to talk about education, every single field, like it's something that I've experienced myself growing up. I was born here, in the UK. I know exactly what it is, you know, to experience racism. And one of the first times I experienced racism was in Ireland. The first time I was actually conscious of it was when I was like 14. I was playing football, and a guy walked past, and there's a guy and a girl actually, and they asked me, "Oh, you want a banana?" And I looked at them and said, "Oh, no, it's okay." But I didn't think anything of it, and they started giggling and chuckling. But because I was young, I wasn't conscious of it. It's like later on, that's when I realized, oh my gosh, they're trying to imply that, you know what I mean? I'm a monkey. Like and I don't know, it's just, when I came back, you know, I just started to notice little different things, really subtle. Because, you know, when you really look at racism in the US, they always say, I speak to loads of people, I speak to loads of boxers, American boxers, world champions, and I'll always ask about different things about the country because I like to learn about cultures and different states, etc. Because it's a very interesting place, their states, and they will say, listen, it's in your face. They will call you an N-word straight away, like, who cares? You know what I mean? But in the UK, it's always been more subtle. You know, it's subtle. It's not in your face. Like, you know, if you, I remember I was watching an interview with this woman Afua, and she was doing a debate with a few people on the panel, and Nick Ferrari is there. And Nick Ferrari, they're talking about obviously bringing down, like, people like Winston Churchill, should they be celebrated when they were also involved in this and that? And then you also got black people and other minorities walking past where this, you know, they're affected by things like this and they don't want to celebrate people like that. And people are against it, like, listen, this is our history. You know, I see the tweets, you know, it's proper interesting. I just look and read. And then Nick Ferrari says to Afua, if you don't like it, like, why don't you leave? And you have to, you know, analyze what he's trying to imply. Because if it was, you know, a white person, would you have said the same thing? If it was a white person, or, you know, what, you don't, you know, see her or perceive her as British. You know, you have to put things like that into context. And there's people in this UK, and I know you know, Raz, there's Indians, people from Pakistan that have been here for generations. There's West Indians that have been here for generations. This is their country. They don't know, nobody knows, like, how it is to live back where their ancestors came from. it's a whole different way of life, a completely different way of life. So as far as they're concerned, this is their country and they're British. But when you say things like that, it implies that, no, you're not one of us. You know what I mean? And that hurts. That hurts. And that's the truth. You can hide it, you can lie about it, pretend like it's not a hurtful thing to say. But it's like these subtle racisms, these prejudices, and you just have to kind of, I think one thing I've noticed as well is a lot of people are not even conscious of what racism is. A lot of white people, I put up a few posts on my Instagram, my Twitter, and I've received so much message like, how can I help? Like, what can I do? I don't really understand, but I want to do something to help because I think this is wrong. I see what's going on, and I love it. It's an amazing feeling to receive a message like that, and to have, you know, white people where this doesn't really affect them in such ways, but they feel the pain and they're able to empathize, and they just want to know. They don't understand this because they've never experienced it before, and guess what? It's a thing where I think now it's about time to give people a bit more understanding about the topic. Nobody wants to talk about racism, but now we're here. Let's talk about it to give people understanding, first of all, to see what means what is classed as racist, what hurts and what doesn't, you know. And you know, I experienced it not too long ago. For instance, I was driving to training, so I was driving and had all my training gear. I was at the traffic lights in my car, had the windows down. A TSG came around and saw me, did a U-turn and pulled me over. I was at the traffic lights and it was like 11 a.m. There was nobody else in my car. Why would I be getting stopped? It's a TSG, there's no ANPR system. So there's nothing flashing up like no insurance or, you know, or the car's marked. The car wasn't marked. There was nothing. If I was a white man, would I have been stopped? Would they have done a U-turn to come and stop me? You know, so it's these things where it's so subtle. You will never know. You will never experience it. Most people, like my friends, that white, they've never been stopped before. I know people that have been involved in crime all their lives. They're white. They've never, ever been stopped before by police.
I just want to get your thoughts on Anthony Joshua. He made some comments during the Black Lives Matters protests in Watford, in his community. Hundreds of people came out. I'm sure you saw the statement that he read. He clearly obviously said before he read the statement that it was somebody else's statement and not his. But what was your reaction from the people that responded back after Joshua made those remarks?
You know, I can see why, you know, why they're upset. You know, it's just the way it came across. But if you know Joshua is nothing. You cannot call Anthony Joshua a racist. It's crazy. It's impossible. This guy's got so much, like this guy is proper in tune to so much different cultures. You know, I know Joshua, like he is nothing. You cannot call this man a racist. It's a lie. That's the truth. And it's like, I think he was reading his friend's, I don't know, the speech. It was his friend's speech, but it's like, how can you like judge him from reading someone else's speech? And obviously you follow him, you know that he's for the people, he's about unity, but he's trying to build his own people, build his, you know, people that also suffered from the same issues, and see if he can get them on a level playing field. Because it's like, everybody knows it's not no lie. It's like black people were kind of playing catch up, isn't it? Because there's a lot of things that's happened to us in the past, and you know, I won't speak for all black people, but it's just a thing where everybody needs to start to work together now. And you know, when people are like looking at you and classing you not like different, what do you want them to do? Continue coming to try and, you know, get alongside? It's like, you have to just look at each other and say, you know what, you know, we need to help each other get up and work together. And you know, I don't think he meant anything racist in that way. Most of the people that he works with are also white people. We actually need each other. You know what I'm saying? When you look at it like that, we actually need each other. How can you be racist? It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work, especially if you want to like bring change. And that's what I've seen him talk about. We need to work together. We need to stop seeing color. Stop seeing like this guy is black and that guy is white. Forget about that. And I feel like the older generations are kind of stuck in this type of mindset and this notion towards things. So the people that are going to change are our generations and the newer generations to come. And then everybody's going to be moving in unison. But it's a thing where it has to be everyone versus racism. This is the real issue. And just because you don't see, you haven't experienced it, it does not mean that it exists. It doesn't exist. Because I tell you, and I know, Raz, as you're from Pakistan, right? You know, like as a minority as well, you know what I'm talking about. We have to work together to defeat this. Everybody comes on, everybody tries to defeat this systematic racism. Look at all institutions. If you're not seeing this much black people, you're not seeing a decent mix of people from all different backgrounds, and questions need to be asked. I remember they asked Matt Hancock on Sky News. They asked him, so how many black people are currently in the cabinet? He went around the block, did a U-turn, went around the block again, did a U-turn and went around the block again, just to avoid answering that question. The answer is zero. There's people from India. Obviously, you got Rishi Sunak, you got someone else, forgot the name, but that's it. There needs to be more diversity, not just in the parliament, across the board, across the businesses. And I ask questions. I have people that work in different industries, financial controllers, CEOs, and they tell me, listen, I'm not gonna lie to you, Richard, I don't really see too many minorities in there. Things need to change. So we need to just kind of work together, be conscious of a few things, and some might not be, done intentionally, but now everybody's talking about race, so everybody can see. Everybody's eyes are open now. So we need to take things in consideration and change, and we can make this place a much better place. And even though people are stuck in their ways, it's like it's fine, because things are changing and things are they're gonna change even more. So I always focus on the positives. I don't see color, and I just try my best to work around everyone and just work on defeating this horrible system.
Which is just a final question. We've only got like 2 minutes left because Zoom has a unfortunate time limit of 40 minutes. I didn't realize the time has flown by. But how important is it for everybody to carry on with the flame, with the protesting, with the peaceful protesting, etc., etc.? Because what generally happens is when something happens, when a scenario happens or an event happens, people get a bit excited and a bit high, and for a week or two, you'll see a lot of tweets and posts and some marching on the streets. But then eventually things start dying out and people just forget and go back to normal day-to-day life. So how important is it to carry this on until we see change?
Listen, that is the most important thing. I am completely for change and taking action. That's what I am about. And everybody needs to continue this. They need to have the same energy. Doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter what color you are. As long as you have the same mindset, and we're against this racism, this disgusting system. We have to defeat it. And by that, we can't just protest. Get attention is great. You're protesting. Everybody's in their cars beeping at you, clapping, saying, "Yeah, that's good." But that's not it. We need to see change. We need to see change. We need to take action. And if you really want to see change, a wise man once told me, be the change. We have to be the change. I'm the change. That's the only way we can do it. And we have to come out of our comfort zones and start doing things that we don't normally do. Going online. I know a lot of people, they will never go online and sign a petition. Go and sign it. You don't know what that could do. You don't know what that one signing of that petition, you don't know what that one signing could do and how much that can change things. So, you know, we need to work all together, come with have a committee, everybody just has the same goal in mind, same notion, and work together. It doesn't matter your color. You could be pink, yellow, blue, brown, purple. It doesn't matter. As long as we got the right mindset and what we want to do, what we want to achieve, we can make this place a beautiful place. And the good thing is, I've been seeing so much change. And to be honest, you know, I'm an optimistic person, but at the same time, because this has been going on for so long, we've been experiencing it for such a long time. It's like it's hard to have the faith that things are going to change. You know, I've always been like, it's still going to be there. But to be fair, I've been kind of shocked. You know, I've seen a lot of change. So there's hope. There's hope. We have to keep on pushing and walking around with banners and that. The Black Lives, yeah, that's good, but way more needs to be done. And the people that have the power, the people in these organizations, these industries, they need to look into this and start looking at changing things. And guess what? In the long term, it's gonna help. It's gonna help their image in society. It's gonna probably, you know, do more good than bad if they're looking into things like, because everybody loves to support people that stand for what's real and are trying their best to change things, you know, for the better. You have to respect it no matter what. And yeah, we're just gonna keep on pushing, man, and do that. So everybody that's out there watching this, you know, I hope you lot take consideration what I'm saying. Listen, we have to keep it up, keep it at work, and it's not black and white. It's none of that rubbish. You know, anybody tries to come with that ideology, you need to cast them away. Like, it's all about, I was listening to flipping Tommy Robinson trying to start some race war. The next thing you know, I've seen some people get arrested for terrorism acts, you know, trying to attack protesters, I think planning or something like this. Listen, it's going to go horribly wrong. Forget about that mindset. We need to move on now, work together, stop seeing color. It has to stop. And I think even though this year has been a horrible year in regards to the pandemic, this might be a very iconic year. You know, this is going to go down in history, 2020, you know, and it will be better after that, hopefully.
Very wise words there, Richard. Just want to echo, be the change. Keyword there.
Be the change, that's it. Don't look to left to right. I'm the change. Don't worry about Adam over there. Don't worry about Daniel. You focus on yourself.
Richard, we could speak a lot more on this quite
yeah,
we definitely have to rewind and do it again soon. I appreciate you giving me a bit of your time today. Stay well, stay safe, and we'll definitely catch up with you soon.
Peace, man.
Richard Riakporhe, IFL TV, thank you very much.
Cheers.